Hello everyone and welcome back to the third and fourth placing match between HQ Esports Club as well as the Saigon Jokers. My name is Wolf and tonight I'm co-casting this game or this epic set here with Chris. So if you guys were wondering what we're doing with these cards here, actually what we have here is actually the Musketeer Twisted Fate skin codes, and we will actually be giving them away for the GPL Winter Finals. If you actually can see here, below is the hashtag that you'll use. So send us your questions from now onwards all the way until the GPL Winter Finals with the hashtag GPLW Finals. And if we actually air your questions on the live stream this Saturday between the match between the Azubu Taipei Assassins against the Azubu Taipei Snipers, you actually stand a chance to win. I mean, if we air your questions, you will definitely win the Musketeer Twisted Fate. Oh my goodness, what am I saying?
So please use the hashtags here, and the codes unfortunately will only be available to our friends in Singapore and Malaysia who are playing on the SGMY servers. But just send in some of your questions. We'll pick the best ones, related to the GPL finals, and
we'll just answer your questions live on stream on Saturday. I'm really excited for the Saturday matches coming up. So like you said, once again, use the hashtag, send us your questions, and the best questions will be answered live on stream. We've got a lot of things, and I'm very excited for Saturday's match itself. Skin codes only available or only able to work on the Singapore-Malaysia server in itself, but enough about the Saturday GPL Winter Finals, because what's important at this point of time is the AHQ as well as SAJ third and fourth placing match. And what an epic set it has been. I mean, the games have gone on for an average 1 hour each. First game went on for about 55 minutes, second game went on about the same time, the third game definitely went on past the 70-minute mark, and what a turnaround from SAJ.
I think Epic is just underplaying it.
I don't know, I don't want to use the word epic too much.
Fair enough. And in a sense, they are really brawling it out, and it's a matter of just who can get the third position in the winter season. And once again, what they are playing for is 25,000 cash prize and 150 circuit points. And for fourth position, it's a 15,000 cash prize and 100 circuit points in their pocket. So it's a $10,000.
Like you said, 10 grand difference is a lot, and it does seem that both teams are actually just playing like they're playing their hearts out. So as a team that just went through a series, this is the fourth game in the best of 5. The last game, mind you, is not going to be blind pick. All games are standard draft pick. I know a lot of people are wondering whether our last game is blind pick. No, we do not follow what the OGN does. In the GPL, all games are standard draft pick. That being said though, as a player, if I was Pride, if I was Westdoor, if I was Optimus, if I was Archie, what's my mentality or what's my mental state at this point of time? I just went through 3 1-hour-long games, nail-biting finish each time. I must be extremely exhausted.
Well, okay, for the most part, I would have to say that Saigon Jokers, they played all their early games pretty darn well, actually. And in that sense, they just need to, find their opening punch to really break through and close the game out as early as they can, and then bring it to game number 5. For HQ Esports Club, they have been in a position where their wins always come from this reversal, where they find one good team fight in, and then they push all the way. They just bulldoze their way down one lane, and then take out those, inhibitors, and then the Nexus turrets for victory. So in that sense, a very contrasting view here. So we are back into game number 4 now, looking at the bans. Kill.
Nothing special.
Yeah, nothing special.
Nothing special at all. Respect bans on the side of HQ for Kayle and Oriana onto Optimus. Probably going to default back to Gragas. They may try to steal away that Gragas pick from Optimus though, but I don't know how well it's going to work out for the side of HQ.
Right.
SAJ, once again, Nidalee, Trash, Dr. Mundo. Standard bans altogether. HQ just gonna take as much time as possible to lock in their first pick. If it's gonna be Kassadin, that's gonna be extremely bold of them to actually go in for the Kassadin pick here. They do lock in the Kassadin, so they may have a strategy up their sleeves, and locking the Kassadin first pick just, we saw how Westdoor played Kassadin in game number 2. He played it off quite safely, and he managed to kind of snowball. He didn't really I know you were quite irked about the fact that he just went in and just died sometimes, and that was bad play calling. But when it mattered, it mattered.
Yeah.
He initiated at the right time and forced SAJ to counter-initiate prematurely, and that gave them the win in game number 2 in that final fight, if you guys remember.
Yeah. So in a sense, that Kassadin pick for HQ Esports Club is pretty much a toss-up between 50-50 because he applied a lot of side lane pressure, but at the same time when, you know, it came to this mid lane engages, sorry, not mid lane, mid game engages, we actually saw him, you know, just dive right into the fray and then he just got caught.
I'm tired.
We...
But I'm very excited.
Yeah,
for
we
game
are
number
excited
4.
for this one. We have to
My
give it to
goodness.
them. Yeah, so
okay, let's take a look at what SAJ has come in for their first pickups in this, what's that called? In this Champion Select phase. They decide to deny away Lucian from Garnet Devil. Jinx is not available because AHQ has banned it out. So what will AHQ be going for this game? It's probably the Sivir.
Oh, there we go.
There we have it. Should have said it earlier. Now we have claimed the credit for that one. But nevertheless, Sivir as well as the Shyvana into Kassadin pickup will kind of all synergize together because that speed boost in itself will, in general, just benefit the entire team. And not only that, the siege potential coming in from Sivir, she doesn't have very good escape mechanisms.
Okay.
But once she hits level 6, the passive from the ultimate itself, from the, my goodness, On the Hunt, that gives additional attack speed bonus when Sivir uses Ricochet. That's just going to chunk down towers extremely effectively.
I would love to see that Zed pick.
Oh my goodness.
I would love to see that happen because we haven't seen Optimus play Zed in a while now, and I think we have seen that come back into the scene for a while, and I'm staring at the Rengar pick.
That's right. So am I. So, oh goodness, I need to adjust my mic. Let me adjust that first. If they lock in Zed, as well as Rengar at this point of time, I don't think it's going to be Rengar.
Ah, there we go. Oh!
Nunu in the jungle is going to be quite effective. I still prefer Nunu with an AD carry that is able to siege more like the Nunu Caitlyn. I know... should I even say this? I didn't watch the game. But I know game 2, SKT against KT Bullets, of today, the match that was happening at the same time as the GPL, they used the Nunu Caitlyn, and I saw at 20 minutes, they were already knocking down the inhibitor turret. So if you're able to use the Nunu in the jungle effectively, Safety has been known to play that jungle Nunu quite well too. He plays it in a very different style. He plays Nunu as if he has some sort of gap closer or initiate. That's how he plays Nunu, which is very exciting to me.
And yeah, and the other thing as well is that so far in all the best of 5 series that Saigon Jokers are involved in, he will always pull out the Nunu pick, especially on game number 4. I don't know what's his theory behind it, but in the series against Taipei Assassins, they put it out in game number 4 as well. So this time around,
the question is, did they win game number 4?
They did.
So they are very comfortable with Nunu.
Yep.
I know their win rate on Nunu isn't too spectacular, but I know Safety is extremely comfortable on their champion. What we have here in response from HQ is that they pick Kha'Zix in the jungle, so...
Reminiscences of game number 2.
It kind of... I don't know how it's going to work, because Nunu can easily go in and bully up Kha'Zix early game. Having the consume as well as the Ice Ball will just be able to chunk down Kha'Zix and force him out of lane in itself. It's interesting that SAJ decide to leave their support pick to the last pick, and I'm going to wonder what it's going to be, because it could be a Morgana, because it's going to prevent Green Tea from pulling off any sort of initiation, because the moment he pulls off the Zenith Blade, or the moment you see the Solar Flare, you can easily Black Shield that away. It's going to be a pretty good pick, and that's been somewhat rising, especially since Mistake brought it out in the GP. I don't know if SAJ has already capitalized on the Morgana pick. So far, the only 2 teams, to my mind, I remember picking up the Morgana pick at this point of time is Snipers as well as Hong Kong Attitude. But let's just see what the final pick is going to be.
Oh, it's going to be the Nami!
Okay. So this is going to be quite interesting. I mean, if Nami is able to pull off a great Aqua Prison, this is one of the first times I've seen SAJ actually pull out that Nami. I know you did some prior analysis in their team comps. Have they actually picked up Nami before
No.
and has it worked? So no Nami. This is the first time SAJ is bringing out Nami to a competitive level in Southeast Asia in the GPL in itself. But all in all, I feel it can work in the team comp.
Right, and you know, just given the sense that there's a lot of engages coming in from HQ Esports Club. Just look between Kassadin, Kha'Zix, as well as Shyvana. They all have some form of lead mechanism to jump into your face. And you just need to follow that up with the tidal wave. You should be able to negate all this initiation coming in from HQ Esports Club. And once again, HQ Esports Club, they are going for this double assassins team composition. I'm not really sure if that will be the best of favor for them. But in game number 2, when they pulled out this Kha'Zix in the jungle, Ness went for a slightly different build. He went in for a tanky build. But
and it's something that you didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't really like it a lot because it just tones down this assassination potential that Kha'Zix has installed in his kit itself. Because what you want to do generally is to jump into the fray, get a kill, jump out, or jump into another person's face to get another kill or something like that.
It's really interesting what kind of champions these two teams like.
Yep.
It's obvious SAJ loves their Renekton, and HQ loves Shyvana. Two champions that we have not seen thus far, outside of Dr. Mundo, because we saw that in game number 1, is Shen, as well as, oh no, it completely escaped me, as well as Jax.
Yeah.
And these two champions are kind of paired up with each other as well. Whenever we see Jax, we see a Shen. Whenever we see Shen, we see a Jax. But this time it's going to be the Shyvana Renekton lane. So it seems that the teams are very comfortable on that. I really like Prides on Shyvana, and I really like QTV on Renekton. So those two comfort picks. Nat itself, I know you didn't really like the build coming in from Ness on Kha'Zix, but nevertheless, I still feel that he did make an impact. Yep. He was able to go in and try to get as much burst damage as possible, and at the same time survive. But I don't think that's how Kha'Zix is supposed to be played. I mean, I'm very used to seeing Kha'Zix out of the jungle, go in for that leap, as well as the reset the moment you manage to get a kill or assist out of that one. Safety, extremely comfortable on Nunu. That's something that we have to really look out for. I hope Safety, as well as Nas, play like they play in games 2 and games 3, not like in game 1. Because game 1 is just so unlike how AHQ Esports Club and how Saigon Jokers play out. Optimus, we've seen his Ziggs play. His Ziggs play got him out of the quarterfinals, I believe.
Yep.
It was
against HKA.
So good. And that's not much to talk about it. Garda Devil, we already saw how Sivir was being played in game number 1. Not much comments there. Green Tea did kind of fail a little bit in terms of his solar flare. But when it countered, he did hit. I know Archie was in a bunch of trouble as a Hawkmaw in game number 3, in which SAJ miraculously managed to pull off that turnaround due to the initiation coming from Safety.
Right,
and finally, Archie and Junie. I've not seen Archie on Lucian all too much. I know he loves his Ezreal. I know that SAG has picked up Lucian before. At least I remember them picking up Lucian
7
before.
times in the GPL stages.
Okay, so apparently the Lucian impact on Archie itself wasn't really impactful in my mind, because I remember Archie for his Ezreal plays, as well as, what did he pick last game?
Kog'Maw.
Yeah, that Kog'Maw play definitely was pretty good.
And Jinx as well.
And Jinx, that's right. So those are the few champions that I remember Archie for. So using him, now that I know that he's already played Lucian about 7 times in the GPL itself, that's going to be very interesting. To be honest, playing it 7 times in the GPL should kind of say that you should be comfortable on the champion. So what do you think about the two teams? Because I kind of broke it down row by row and how comfortable they were on each champion. But what do you think about the overall team comp, Chris?
Well, I guess it's up to HQ to find the game plan in this one, because I think the game plan for them is really, really simple. What they want to do is to let either Westor or Green Tea jump into the fray, and then they will be the ones to start out the fight, and then Green Tea will be the one to lock everyone down into place. So maybe they would start the team fight with the Solar Flare, and then let Gunner Devil pop that on the hunt, and then everyone just jump into the fray, and then get single out kills there. Whereas for the side of Saigon Jokers, they are looking to have a more sustained team fight, if you would like to call it. So because between Optimus, as well as QTV, and even Safety as well, and Archie, they need a few rotations in order to see the damage come into effect here. And then they do have that Safety disengage coming in from Junie, from the Tidal Wave, as well as the Aqua Prison. And in that sense, it's a very contrasting team composition. As we head into game number 4, it's going to be the epic showdown for HQ Esports Club against Saigon Jokers in this game number 4 of the Best of 5 series. If you have missed out any of the epic matches here tonight, do head down to gpl.garena.com for all the votes for game 1, game 2, and game number 3.
Yeah, will this be the final game for SAJ, or will SAJ be able to bring it to game 5? It does seem that they're just gonna go make a complete beeline onto the blue buff, and they do manage to get a successful invade onto that one. Whether they'll just drop a ward and return to their own lanes itself is still something that you have to look out for. It does seem that that's gonna be the case. We do have this Nunu bot being one of the most irritating skins in my opinion.
Well, we might see the epic Nunu steal here, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But there's a reason why they wanted to, plant that ward down at the blue
My
buff.
goodness, Nunu bot. Love Nunu bot.
So the one early ward being placed down by Saigon Jokers onto the blue buff of HQ Esports Club there, and it does kind of make sense here, because if Safety wants to go in with the Smite Consume combo, he should be able to take that out away from this, but it's a very, very risky move here, and does not guarantee any kind of big rewards in that sense. But if they do that, then they will effectively just deny the blue buff away. Or the other way they could do that, they could just take away the red buff.
Yeah, they're just gonna go in for the normal jungle. It does seem that whenever SAJ pulls off the lane swap, they do actually go for the red, then to the blue. So it's top half to bottom half. And it does seem that it's gonna be the case for this game. And what we have here is that a lane swap on both sides. So both SAJ as well as AHQ
Ooh.
want to go in for they both opted for the lane swap, and in the end they actually met up with each other. A nice Aqua Prison coming in, and Green Tea takes a bunch of damage, nearly putting him down to about 400 health. So here we have once again the two beast rivals, I would say, meeting each other despite the efforts to actually get them.
Wow.
A great Aqua Prison coming in from Junie, and wow, the combination of Junie and Archie in the early game, at least in the level 1 presence, has really made an impact so far. Both Garnet Devil as well as Green Tea has to chuck away on some potions. It would seem that both Archie as well as Junie will hit the level 2 first, and giving them that slight lane advantage.
I think that should dispel any doubts about Junie and his Nami plays here. And
I don't know, man. Yeah. I mean, when you miss, that's when people remember, and when you hit the time, most of the time people just forget about that one.
Well, fair enough, but in that sense here, I guess it's a very good move from HQ Esports Club to mirror this lane swap coming in from Saigon Jokers, because back then in game number 3, the early stages of the game, for the first 10 minutes, we did see Saigon Jokers come in with a very good advantage just because of their 2v1 lane swap. And given the sense that because Green Key is playing Leona, a melee champion, you might not have the best capabilities to try to go for a siege, and that's going to give them some problems if they go for a 1v2 matchup. So given this 2v2 matchup, they should be able to do slightly better, but we start to see the bullying effects from Junie start to come into play here as we have a slight CS advantage coming in from Archie over here. So Safety, we always say for a fact that he likes to make early impact with this Nunu pick, but he hasn't been moving around too much just of yet. And now we do see Optimus bullying out Westlaw as well. So, I mean, ranged champion versus the melee champion at Westlaw should be a natural phenomenon.
Natural phenomenon?
Yeah, natural phenomenon, because you should be able to outpoke your opponent anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here is that you're gonna have Westlaw being pushed up just because the fact that Ziggs has good wave clear and has the passive for short fuse to kind of just put in that auto attack and try to chunk down Westlaw as much as possible. The reason why Safety this game hasn't really been able to make much of an impact in the lanes, despite how I was kind of praising him that he kind of plays Nunu as if he had a gap closer, is because SAJ has all their lanes pushed up, and Nunu at this point of time kind of synergizes whenever your lane is pushed against you, because he can come in from the side, throw in some snowballs, and you have to run entire way back to your turret. And in that point of time, whether it's the dual lane or the solo top lane, your damage output will be so good, the chase potential is so good as well.
Right, but despite that being said, I have to comment on Saigon Jokers, because I think it's like what you mentioned earlier, that the victory in game number 3 definitely gave them a huge morale boost. As you look all across the board, every single one of them are practically just winning their lanes here. So this goal difference that Saigon Jokers is sitting on right now at this point in time is just attributed to the fact that everyone is winning their lanes, and also for the fact that Juni has that ancient coin, so that would generate some extra gold for him.
Yeah, and to our audience out there who's actually watching this game, you guys are wondering what patch we're playing on or what game this is. This is actually SAJ up against HQ Esports Club. HQ Esports Club is on the blue side and the Saigon Jokers is playing on the purple side. This game is playing on a 3.15 patch. Yasuo is not available at this point of time. And we do have an initiation coming in onto the top lane. Archie taking out extremely to the center plate. He will be able to survive that one. Doesn't seem like that's the case. The first blood will go on to Naz. And there we have Optimus as well as Safety actually go in. A great satchel charge will knock Naz back. It does seem they will be able to get a counter gank. 2 kills for 1. What a great rotation that came in from Optimus as well as Safety, I have to say. And QTB now hitting the level 6 first, pops his Dominus, gets the slice and dice as well as the counter to make the Ruthless Predator will not be up anytime soon, and Prize will be able to get away without burning any summoner spells.
You know that 1 for 2.
Oh my
there we
goodness.
go!
We do have that roam coming in from Westall though. QTB taking out extremely low. Prize nearly dying to the tick of Ignite there, but a great rotation coming from Westall. Quite transparent though. I kind of knew that QTB wanted to dive that one, and Westall read, or at least HQ read that perfectly.
Right, so that will pull their kill differences just right apart there. So Optimus now made it with Westall down at this prime rush here. Westall has to just riff walk away from that one, and there we go. Safety just going into the fray.
Wow,
that is
great max range bouncing bomb is able to actually pick up the kill on the Optimus. Now Optimus has 1 kill and 2 assists to his name, and that's just going to snowball this lanes pretty hard. This is the earliest aggression, or
I'm loving it, man.
This is how SAJ and AHQ tend to play.
I expected this right from game number 1, but for game number 1, they were very passive for the most part.
I have to tell our international audience here, because at this point of time, we're in Southeast Asia. This is Southeast Asian Garena Premier League. This is for the 3rd and 4th placing. Yep. And like you said, we play for about, the difference between 3rd and 4th is about 10,000 US dollars in itself for the cash prize. And not only that, they're fighting for circuit points to qualify for Season 4 World Championship in itself. If you're wondering what time it is now, as professional players, we started at 6 p.m. The match started at 6 p.m. local time, and it's now almost 11 p.m. And you must wonder how tired these players are, because if I was them, I would be so mentally fatigued at this point in time.
I think mental training is part of their regime as well. That should be part of their regime too.
I don't know, I know gamers stay up late to play games. We are both gamers at heart. But competitively, playing a game at 11 p.m. and we may go to a game 5.
Yep.
And that could stretch all the way to 1 a.m. for all we know, honestly, Chris.
Yeah, it might happen, but you know, it could even be a strategy by itself. You know, back in the Season 2 days, I remember CLGEU, back then known as CLGEU, was known to drag out games just to make their opponents really, really tired, and then subsequently they are the ones with the better mental strength to pick up the win. Subsequently,
really, was that an honest strategy?
I have no idea, but I think it is a strategy.
My goodness.
I think it's a strategy, but I mean, think about it, it's a very realistic strategy as well.
Yeah, I have to make a complaint now though. While it's kind of lull, it's kind of downtime I would feel before any sort of engage is happening. The air conditioning in this mall has turned off.
All right.
And we're just gonna, yes, it's GPL Winter,
but it's no winter in Singapore.
No winter in Singapore. No winter at the Garena Stadium either, so just a little bit of a roam coming in from both Optimus as well as Safety. I really like a Blood Bolt Ziggs, to be honest, because short fuse every 12 seconds will be able to
extra extra damage on your auto attacks based on your AP.
Yes, and this is going to be extremely exciting coming into this game as well, because what we have here is that, you know, SAJ as well as HQ, they're going to be playing for their lives here. It's so late, they're so mentally fatigued. Oh my goodness, I'm going into the mic. They're so extremely mentally fatigued. And now AHQ, Westall actually going on to HQ, Optimus pops the Ignite, and wow, we do actually have the Mega Inferno Bomb coming out. Westall will just drift walk away from that one.
Right, so in that sense, we do still see Saigon Jokers winning all out their lanes, and because of that, we do see that goal difference that is separating both teams. 1.2k difference just 10 minutes in, and it's the story of every game. Saigon Jokers will pretty much win the early game outright, and then HQ Esports Club will find a way to come back with a good team fight in the mid-game stage, but we can't say for sure because we're just 10 minutes in, but it does look like it's going to be a template of what's happening every game so far.
Yeah, so kind of a downtime at this point of time in the game. Both lanes are just going to be farming out against each other. The lane aggression in itself doesn't seem to be in favor of any lane outside of the mid lane because of the great rotation coming in from the what do you call that? From the roam from safety. That's what I meant. When you went in, they managed to get a point of time in which Westall was pushed back, or he backed off to get a few items, and then we had safety as well as Ultimate start wailing away at the turret. We may see some action in the top lane. Safety does show his face, and you know, put some pressure in. QTV now, you know, losing out on most of the trades against HQ Pride for itself.
Right, but he does still have that CS advantage as well, and the other thing is Optimus actually having a good advantage as well, and actually Westall opting to go for the flash there, but it's not going to be paying off too well for him because he still took a whole bunch of damage in the exchange.
Naz getting his recall actually interrupted there by Ice Ball as well as a bouncing bomb to the face, and that's just gonna be that for a while. Not much turret pressure being put on by either team at this point of time. Outside of this mid lane turret, they do seem that both Optimus as well as Safety seem to want to get this mid lane turret down, and with this cannon minion wave, they do manage to make it. So the rotations coming in from Optimus as well as Safety is going to be quite potent, with Price actually pulling it off in the top lane here. We do have the rotations coming in. Price needs to be extremely worried for any sort of rotations. I mean, we do have Optimus as well as Safety coming in from the flank. Will Price be able to escape that one? We do have Naz as well as Leona coming in from the side. The Dragon Set will come out. QTB is taken out extremely low. He does still have his ultimate though, sorry, not passive. And we do have the stun coming in as the flash comes out from Safety. The roam coming from Kassadin will be on the sidelines. Will Westall be able to do anything under this turret in itself? So summon the spell blown for a roam all the way down to the bot lane, and this opens up Dragon for HQ Esports.
Right, and that roam came in a very timely fashion as well, because top lane was pretty much just struck against Saigon Jokers. That gave up space for Green Tea to roam down the lane, and because of that they are able to pick up the Dragon. But at this point of time, the Dragon is not really at the goal level as it was before, so it's not really huge difference, but in that sense, HQ Esports Club managed to stop the bleeding, and this is quite crucial as well, because in games 1 to game 3, they only managed to stop the bleeding at about 20 minutes past the game, and now they are, you know, playing more aggressively. They are outright going for more objectives, and I like this switch of strategy coming in from them as well. And I just want to point out that Archie has just finished up his Trinity Force.
That's an extremely fast Trinity Force coming in. Well, I do expect Guarded Devil to actually pick up his own big ticket item sooner or later at least. But if they're able to capitalize on the fact that, okay, well, we do have Guarded Devil recalling, but like I said, if Guarded Devil were to stay in the lane any longer to face up against a Trinity Force Archie, we may see some action there. We do have Naz actually going in, smites away his own red buff, and then decides to actually leap out of that one. He does evolve Leap as his first evolution point. Green Tea as well as Westall will pick up their own blue buff. Junie does stick a stealth ward deep into the map itself, and it does seem that the lanes will just start pushing into the mid lane of Westall. Westall's going to be very happy about that lane, I must say. If he's able to kind of freeze the lane and just farm it up as much as possible, stacking that Archangel Star, he's going to be very comfortable just scaling as a Kassadin. But nevertheless, it's still early stages of the game. Knowing game 1 to game 3, we should see an extremely long game coming in for this one. QTV as well as Price actually just mirroring in terms of items outside of the 2 Doran's items being picked up by Price compared to this Boots of Speed from QTV itself. We have a 3-man roam on the side of HQ Esports. Whoa, Archie actually gets in onto this one, is able to flash away and uses the culling to just clear the minion wave out of that one. That was great reflexes onto both sides. Immediately when he saw the solar flare as well as the riftwalk come in, Junie pulls out the tidal wave, and at the same time we saw the flash from Archie. He got clipped by the well, we do have an absolute zero coming in just to clear the wave, so I thought Price was in a little bit of a trouble there, but nevertheless.
Right, and Optimus will now go, actually taking a lot of damage in the perspective as well. He might actually go down the process, but does feel like he will be able to disengage from that one. And you know what happened up in the top lane was a very timely call, like you mentioned. That is the disengage potential that comes in with the Nami pick as well. And I like what HQ Esports Club is doing right here because they recognize that the whole trouble in having all these long games is that they are not aggressive enough. So they are stepping up their gameplay in this one. They are making more early game calls, which is traditionally the traditional HQ Esports Club, because we used to call them the masters of the early game, and that's what is happening right now. And actually, Westlaw is going to collapse on the QTV here.
Yeah, that's right. QTV taken out extremely low. He does flash away, and now Westlaw will be able to pick up the kill onto that one. We did see Price actually tank a few turret hits, and he should be able to walk out of the turret range in itself. Nevertheless, some action coming in onto the top lane. We did see the turret go down on the side of AHQ Esports. Right,
so a very contrasting game style like we were talking about. It is at a point where HQ Esports Club, they are the ones to actually constantly seek out this picks and this niche skirmishes. As compared to Saigon Jokers, they are more objective orientated, and they want to just make sure that they get the turrets as quickly as they can, which is very important when you are going up against this pick composition that HQ Esports Club is currently running.
That's right. I think another key issue or another key factor coming into the aggression from HQ is the fact that Safety is playing a champion such as Nunu. I did say that Safety plays Nunu in such a way that it's so aggressive that you usually don't see many Nunu players doing such a thing. But in this game, I can kind of tell that HQ is capitalizing on the fact that Nunu is a little bit more passive in terms of ganking in itself. And we do see the West Door as well as Nas role coming in from HQ Esports.
Well, in the sense, it just plays down to the fact that Safety, for the most part, especially for the first 10 minutes, what he was doing is being the second mid laner. He was pretty much a lot in the presence with Optimus as well, just making sure that he can blood ball Optimus and to chunk down the turret as quickly as he can. That's why we did see the first mid lane turret to go down was actually in the favor of Saigon Jokers there. So that elevated some, that actually gave some space to HQ Esports Club to farm up. And now if you look at it, the CS difference is not as much as it was before, but in that sense, Optimus still has a very huge CS difference as compared to Westlaw here. So what they really need is to control Westlaw and this Assassin pick, because unlike in game number 2, they don't really have the hard CC to try to lock him down if they jump into the fray, and Westlaw has better options now. He can just jump into the fray and maybe single out Nami or even Archie or even Optimus for the kill there, but for Saigon Jokers, they don't really have very good disengagement.
Yeah, then we have the tidal wave getting spell shielded there. The on the hunt is popped, and at the same time, Garter Devil does flash away from that one. Green Sea gets taken out extremely low, or at least gets the stun of the slow coming in from Safety using the absolute zero. The culling being used by Archie does pick up the first kill. Never thought I'd say that actually. And now Garter Devil getting chunked out extremely low. Archie gets the double kill here. Nas now being initiated on here, and he will be able to get away with the leap as well as the invisibility on his ultimate.
Right, so HQ Esports Club will lose 2 members in the process, and Saigon Jokers, they are still chasing onto Nas here. It does feel like they are quite bloodthirsty to try to get a kill, but with all the leaps coming in from Nas, he should be able to escape from that one. And Dragon is not live, so Saigon Jokers should be looking at that as their next objective pickup. And even though it was a very successful gank coming down from Saigon Jokers, we did see how slow it took for them to take out that 2 members, because Saigon Jokers, they don't necessarily have the best engage comp. They are not the kinds to go in probably like a via sword and barrier. Okay, that would lock your target down into place. They have to rely on that tidal wave hitting. And put it into perspective, if the tidal wave didn't hit at all, then it would have gone a separate way for Saigon Jokers there, but nevertheless, that worked out for them. So they will extend their goal lead to close to 2,000, and that's because primarily Westall took down the bottom lane turret while they were taking out the dragon.
Yeah, it does seem that Saigon Jokers may be a little bit tired here because they haven't been responding too well to the rotations from HQ Esports. This is the third turret they've picked up in the game in itself, and easily the Saigon Jokers could have kind of mitigated any sort of turret or objective loss coming in to this point of the game. So now, for the first time, I believe HQ is the first one to actually pick up all the outer turrets in the fourth game here, in the third and fourth placing match.
Right, but I have to say that even though HQ Esports Club is pretty good at controlling the outer turrets at this point of time, Saigon Jokers, they are the ones still with the goal advantage, and they are only one outer turret behind, which is at the bottom turret. So 20 minutes in, I would still say that it's a pretty even game.
Wow, Gunner Devil actually being chunked down extremely low, has to sidestep that Mega Inferno Bomb, and that nearly kind of 100 to 0 him at that point of time. That explosive minefield we put there just to mitigate some of the aggression. And we do have Westar coming in from the side, playing a little bit cheeky here on his Kassadin, trying to zone out as much as possible. Archie as well as the rest of SAJ actually comes in, and there we have the tidal wave being popped out. The absolute zero comes in now, and so much damage coming in from HQ. Westar just destroys SAJ. Optimus gets taken down, and there's 3 members down the side of SAJ. Will QTV be able to do anything? Archie is now in the fray, and now QTV is the only one alive. HQ Esports seems to be getting their game together because this is a 20-minute ace, and they may just turn for Baron here.
What a different game for what? Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. The Baron attempt coming in for HQ Esports Club. That's a very early Baron attempt, and in contrast to Game 1 to Game 3, both teams had a lot of problems as they struggled to take out the Baron. But this time around, AHQ Esports Club, they have it firmly in their hands as they take away one of the biggest objectives just 22 minutes in. So that will propel their goal lead to a good 3,000 ahead against Saigon Jokers. And what a quick turn of events right there. So that was an ace coming in. It was a clean ace as well. Nobody went down in the process. So HQ Esports Club finding all these little advantages that they need. And that's the difference between Game 2 and Game 3, because Saigon Jokers, they don't necessarily have the best lockdown. They had Leona in Game 2, they had Elise in Game 2, but this time around, all these champions are not in their kit. So they could only rely on the tidal wave and maybe just the Aqua Prism to try to disengage. But the amount of damage coming in from Ness and Westall was just enough to take them down, and I like the changes coming in from Ness. He has decided to go on with a lot more damage this time around. He has that BF sword complete on his own end already, so he could just jump in to assassinate anyone right off the bat.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting because the target calling in that team fight wasn't superb. We saw them want to go in on Westall, and then we saw Pride go in with the Dragon's Descent, and then after the tidal wave comes out, it's on top of the absolute zero. But I do not know which target that they were kind of... I didn't see a clear target in SAJ's mind. They juggled the damage quite around a little bit between Garnet Devil, Westar, as well as Nas. Took them down extremely low, but they never once was able to kind of finish off that one itself.
Oh, and
let's see. Yes, Optimus secures his own blue buff.
With Star, just using his ultimate to make sure that it happened for him.
Yeah, so target calling on the side of SAJ, not too superb this game. HQ has that Baron buff 20 minutes into the game and will be able to use that to take, or at least deal some damage to some of the outer or inner turrets in itself.
But so we do have that forward split push coming in, and for Westall it's going to be quite easy for him to rejoin his teammates having that Red Fog on his own end. And with the Baron buff ticking as well, it's going to be quite easy for HQ Esports Club to try to siege it out for themselves.
Yeah, it does seem that they do make the rotation to the mid lane now. Will SAJ actually respond to this one in time? It does seem that the better positioning is on the side of HQ now, but QTV goes in with that Ruthless Predator to slice and dice, and Ruthless Predator does mitigate some of the aggression in which HQ could have put down onto the turret itself.
Right, so HQ Esports Club now wanting to make full use of their Baron buff here in very good perspective as well. So 2,000 gold lead in their advantages, and they do have some major tier items being completed already. Garnet Devil actually having that Phantom Dancer as well as Bloodthirster, so a lot of damage going to come out on his own end. And once again, Green Tea rushing for that mid-kills Crucible to try to remove any crowd control capabilities that would come into harm's way for Gunner Devil. And very good call. Has worked out for them pretty well for the first 3 games. And in a sense, it's a very unique build as well, because we do see a lot of support players, they would want to rush the Talisman of Ascension for the most part, but he instead chose to go for this cleanse.
Yeah, that's right. So far, I really would love to talk to AHQ, and I want to understand their reasoning behind not picking up the Talisman of Ascension, because a lot of teams seem to be prioritizing that. Oh my goodness, Garnet Devil getting chunked down so low by the culling itself, and he has to be extremely careful because I think he's within range of the Optimus Mega Inferno Bomb. He does have his spell shield up though, so there's not going to be too much of a worry for him. They do start the fight, start the Dragon attempt coming in 26 minutes into the game. This Dragon will easily go down. They still have the Baron buff. It's going to wear off in a few seconds. There we have it. No more Baron buff on the side of HQ. This is a time in which SAJ probably needs to start a fight. Safety will meet Westdoor in the lane itself, in the jungle itself, and he may go down to this one. Westdoor as well as Safety will be dueling it out. He does flash away, he does get taken down. QTB will pop the Dominus, but to no avail because he does see 3 AHQ members coming in for this top inner turret.
Right, so once again we do see Safety go down in the process as well. It does look like this Nuno pick is not working extremely well for him at this point of time, so it's gonna be somewhat a 5 against 2 fight over here, but Westdoor is alone by himself in the mid lane to try to apply that split push pressure once more, and we are looking at a point where Westdoor is ramping up also well. 27 minutes in, 4-0 and 2 in terms of KDA, and then finishing up the Severus Embrace, and then having that Zonius as well. So a lot of damage is going to come out on his own end. We are going to have Baron come back up in the next 2 minutes, but in a sense, HQ has made a lot of impact with that Baron buff on their own end. They re-grabbed the goal advantage, and they have kind of pulled that apart to a close 3,000 at this point of time. So it's going to be Saigon Jokers for the most part sitting on the back end now.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that they kind of use that Baron buff to some effect here. Oh, nice two-person Aqua Prison. Optimus down, taken down extremely low. Will Optimus go down to this one? Yes, he does. Safety pops to absolute 0, does not do much damage at all. A double kill for Garnet Devil. Now QTV in a little bit of trouble here. He will get chased down by both Prize as well as Garnet Devil. He does not manage to get the second proc of the dice. He will try to go in again onto Garnet Devil, but he will go down. 3 kills. Garnet Devil was now on a killing spree. And it does seem that HQ is in the commanding position in game number 4. I don't know whether it's fatigue on the side of Saigon Jokers. I don't know whether it's the Nuno pickup on the side of Saigon Jokers, but it doesn't seem to be working out for them at this point of time.
Right, I like that fight going down the mid lane earlier. We did see Ness jump into the back line with this flanking formation, just leaping into the way and then securing a free for himself, and just playing that counter pick to the true blue assassin style. And the whole reason why I said that they kind of managed to use that Baron buff quite effectively is because they needed the goal spike. They needed all this little pressure they needed to shove out all their lanes to their advantage, and they managed to do that. And that's why we start to see this little effect come into play. Now 6,000, sorry, close to 7,000 advantage coming in from HQ Esports Club, and Baron is respawning in close to 10 seconds, and that might be the next major objective that they are looking at.
Yeah, problem with SAJ's team comp now is that they don't have that hard initiation in which they got in the previous game from Vi in the jungle. This time it's going to be Safety on Nunu, and I don't really know what Nunu can do at this point of time. Naz is definitely more impactful this game. He has the Brutalizer as well as the Bloodthirster, so that's going to be very strong. And if HQ decide to go for the Baron, I really like the position.
It is a bait.
Yeah, that's right. That's the bait coming in for you. Optimus using the Mega Inferno Bomb to try to spot out any Baron attempt, but it doesn't seem like that's the case.
Right, but that's one ultimate down on the side of Saigon Jokers, and it might be the cue for them to go in.
Wow, Junie taken down to half HP. Does pop the tidal wave in the end. Kill is given to Westdoor, and now it's going to be a 4v5. will AHQ actually start the Baron now? They seem to be going in for the Baron dance. They do not realize that there's a ward here at this point of time. Naz goes in the jump, and that signals the start of the Baron attempt at this point of time for AHQ Esports. Bouncing bombs will be chucked into the Baron pit itself, the explosive minefield, and now Optimus will get taken down quite low by Westlaw. He gets completely crushed by HQ Naz, and now Safety as well as QTV in a whole world of trouble at this point of time. QTV should go down to this one, and now Archie is in a lot of trouble. He has to run away from that chasing dragon, and the entire HQ team, he goes in for the flash, gets the slow off, the culling will come out, and now it seems that the AHQ Esports Club will get a free Baron out of this fight. I really don't know where was the SAJ we saw in games number 1, 2, and 3, because HQ Esports Club either completely improved within the last game in itself, or SAJ just, you know, got mentally tired after playing such a long series.
Well, we have to attribute it to the fact as well is that in games number 2, when HQ played this double assassins combination, they pretty much got stopped by this hard CC that HQ Esports Club, Saigon Jokers were able to pull out for them. They got stopped by the Leona stuns, they got stopped by the Gragas ultimates as well, they got stopped by, as well as the Elise Cocoons. But this time around, the only hard CC that is going to come in from Saigon Jokers is probably going to come in from that the Ruthless Predator coming in from QTV, as well as the Aqua Prison from Junior, and even the Tidal Wave as well. So not that much resources for them to try to stop any engages. And Westdog got the ball rolling early. That is a very key component in this recipe, because 6, 0, and 5, finishing up that death cap already, a lot of burst damage coming out from it. And we saw what happened in the red side jungle of Saigon Jokers. We did see Safety just go off right off the bat, and that is going to be quite troubling, considering that Safety is one of the frontliners for Saigon Jokers.
Yeah, it's another thing that I like to point out on the side of Saigon Jokers is that Optimus is on a champion that, yes, we saw him do extremely well on Ziggs. And Ziggs is a huge lane bully, able to give a lot of good poke, able to give a lot of burst damage to a team fight. Problem is, we saw how game-changing the utility spells on the AP carries were for Optimus, and we may see a team fight break out now. Westlaw actually jumps in, pops the Zhonya's Hourglass, the Mega Inferno Bomb comes up but does no damage at all, and AHQ is completely ignoring these Nexus turrets. The Absolute Zero will now come in from Safety. Will Safety be able to do any sort of damage at all? Westlaw is taken out extremely low, gets hit by a few turret shots, is forced to flash away from that one. It does seem that AHQ will be able to take a commanding position in this game. The death timers at this point of time is now 30 seconds. Green team will pop the Eclipse to try to tank as much damage as possible from the turrets. Now Garnet Devil is the one tanking up the turrets. They do have a minion wave coming in, and it does seem like game 4 is going to end at the 30-minute mark. HQ showing how strong they are this game. Game number 4, convincing win for HQ Esports Club.
A contrast to game 1 to game number 3, and it was just basically AHQ Esports Club turning the gear on, and this is the AHQ Esports Club that we are all so used to seeing for the summer season as well as the winter season for the most part of it. And finally, we see that come into play. Game 1 to game 3, they were a bit rusty. They didn't look like the hyper-aggressive AHQ Esports Club that we're so used to seeing, but they finally got it back. They finally got their game on, and Westlaw 9-0 and 6. What a way to go. What a way to end off game number 4. And I have to say, their rotations were tip-top condition. They knew what was the best decision to go for at every time, and that secured them their victory.
Yeah, that's right. And that's just how the third and fourth match kind of played out. It was an amazing series up to the final game, and HQ Esports Club shows why, you know, the Taiwanese region in the Southeast Asian scene has been so strong all this point of time. SAJ did a fantastic job, though. I must say,
we have to give props to them.
Yeah, I must say that ever since the quarterfinals, they've been giving problems to all the Taiwanese teams. They had to go through 3 Taiwanese teams all the way up to this 3rd and 4th placing match. And if the first 3 games weren't a testament enough, I think SAJ is one of the hot contenders coming in for the spring split of the GPL in itself.
Right, so we are going to see HQ Esports Club being the one to back the title of 3rd position for the winter season.
Yeah, it's going to be an all-Taiwanese podium.
Right, all-Taiwanese podium, and 25,000 in the back. And You know, it's an amazing series, like we have talked about earlier. And if this is the kind of action that we are going to see for
The third and
fourth placing,
placing,
I
oh my
can't wait
goodness.
to see the finals. That's going to be happening this Saturday.
That's right. That's going to be happening this Saturday. So earlier, as you can see on your screens now, actually, it's going to be at 4:30 p.m. The two teams will be flying down to Singapore. Both the Azubu Taipei Assassins as well as the Azubu Taipei Snipers will be here in the Garena Stadium playing live. I don't know whether any more tickets are on sale, Chris.
I have no idea, but I think it should
Yeah,
be sold
from
out.
what I understand, they are all completely sold out. So you do have to buy tickets to come and watch this match in itself. If not, you can actually watch from home live on your stream, from whatever stream that you're actually watching it from.